All right, so I'm looking at the examples at the bottom of page 1. So these are some more evaluation examples similar to what we just did in the warm-up. Now, in the warm-up, I essentially showed you the first way that you can do these. I'm now going to show you the easier way that you can do these. All right? So, basically, just like I said, there's two ways to do them. The first way is to do the operation first, just like within the functions, and then plug in for x. So plug whatever number you have in for x. Or the other way is to just do the opposite. So plug in for x in the functions individually. And then once you get those numbers, do the operation. All right. Either way, and it's really just a preference of what you're most comfortable with. Either way, it will give you the same answer. All right. So for these examples, we're just going to practice doing the second way. All right. Because it's actually less steps and less room for error if you do the second way. All right. So with number 1, f minus g of -3. That's how you say it. So f minus g of -3. Which, that is the exact same thing as f of -3 minus g of -3. So the easiest way to do it is to break apart and find f of -3 by itself and g of -3 by itself. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So for f of -3, we're still plugging into the same functions from up top. So this will be the same thing as 3 times -3 plus 2. And g of -3 would be the same thing as -3 squared minus 2 times -3 plus 10. All right? So take a minute and evaluate those two. So all I did was plug in -3 in for both of the x values in both functions. That's why I said you might want a calculator, because you can put that straight into your calculator. I'll give you one more minute. So put the parentheses exactly where I put them. Your calculator automatically does PEMDAS, so if you don't put the parentheses, like around the -3 squared specifically.
Oh, wait, okay. Hold on. I'll do it right this time.
All right. You guys should at least have one for F. So raise your hand, or someone raise your hand. Tell me what they got for F of -3.
Wait, what did you say?
So someone tell me what they got for F of -3. Julian. -7. Good. What'd you guys get for G of -3? 25. Good. So these are the two numbers that I got. Now comes the easy part. We got the numbers. Now we're doing the operation. So remember, this is one where order matters. So since F comes first, we start with -7. Actually, let me rewrite this. F minus G of -3 is equal to -7 minus 25, which should give you what? So JJ, we're on the we're just picking up from where we left off yesterday. So page 1, examples at the bottom.
F minus. -7 plus.
All right, what'd you guys get? -32. And that's our answer. So if you went ahead and put in -3, like you did the operation first, got the new function, and put in -3, you would have gotten the exact same answer. All right. This way is way easier. It's a lot less work per se. All right. Instead of having to switch for subtraction, you could do it either way just because it's mainly combining like terms. But it comes in handy, especially when you're doing things like division and multiplication, because that's a lot less steps. So, any questions on number 1? All right, let's look at number 2. Very similar process. All right. So now we have F times G of 7. So it's the same thing as F of 7 times G of 7. So we're going to do just like what we did before. We're going to find F of 7 and G of 7 first. We're just going to go ahead and evaluate those two functions separately. So this will be 3 times 7 plus 2, and then 7 squared minus 2 times 7 plus 10. So take a minute, find it.
I got 22 for the F of 7 and I got 25 for G of 7.
Recheck G of 7.
Where did you get 45?
So with the calculator, when in doubt, put parentheses around everything that I put parentheses around.
I did. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, here's it. I forgot I'm allowed to set.
All right, what'd you guys get for F of 7?
23.
23. What'd you get for G of 7?
I still got
45.
25.
It's 45. So another way you can do it is if your calculator fails you, this one's a quick one you can do in your head. So 7 squared is 49 minus 2 times 7, which is 14. So 49 minus 14, that's 35. Plus 10, 45. All right. All right. So now we just have to take these two numbers and do what? multiply them. So now we're doing f times g of 7, which is simply just 23 times 45, which will be what?
Now
1035. Good. So, why this is easier is, for example, if we multiplied these, we would have to do a 2x3 box if we did the first type of way. So do the operation first. So it would be a 2x3 box. We would end up having a cube somewhere. So a lot more room for error. So a lot of times it's just easier to do it separate and then be done with it. All right. Try number 3. So first off, what operation are you doing? F over G. What does that stand for? Division. All right. So try number 3 on your own. Give you guys a couple minutes.
Wait, Miss Murphy, would it work if you put a fraction wall? How do you do that? Can you show me, please?
I would just use a division symbol because it'll automatically put the fraction line.
Okay.
Yeah, most of Math 3, you see fraction typically means division. 8. No.
14.125.
I'll show you guys what to do with that. No, it's in ballpark.
Just 14.
Mm-mm.
I got all my signs and all my stuff.
All right, thumbs up if you're ready. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes.
No. Where'd you get? You got nothing. Wow. Two. I got 14.
All right, thumbs up if you're ready. All right, guys. I'm hearing a lot of productive struggle, which is a good thing. So let me show you what I did. So found f of 4 first, got 14. G of 4 next, got 18. So if I put them in their proper spots, 14 over 18, and I simplify that fraction down to 7 over 9. Now, If you put that in your calculator, which you could have, when in doubt, leave it as a fraction. So, but let me show you a little skill if you get a decimal, but you need a fraction. So, I went ahead and did 14 divided by 18 in my calculator. By the way, this is an exact replica of what yours calculator is. So, what you then want to do is hit math. So the math key's under that green alpha key. And this is the screen you'll see. Do you see how the first one says frac? That stands for fraction. So if you hit enter and then enter again, your calculator automatically puts that fraction in simplified form. So it's also a good way if you have to simplify a fraction. That's also a way you can do it. Just put it in like a division problem and then hit math, enter, enter. And they'll automatically simplify that fraction for you. Any questions on that one? How'd you guys feel about that? So scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I am totally lost to 5 being I got this. How you feeling so far? Oh, Lord. Okay. That doesn't embode confidence in me. All right. All right. So let's try one more. This one I definitely want to do together. So what are you noticing with this operation? What's kind of different than the last ones and what we've done? Well, there's numbers within the operation or scalars. So in other words, we have kind of a extra step in there. We got to deal with those scalars as well. So basically, we have to find 2g of -5 and 3f of -5. So we have to end up multiplying them by 2 and 3 later. So, and then add them. So what we're going to do first is just what we've been doing, which is finding everything individually. So I'm still going to find f of -5 first and g of -5 first. We're not worried about the scalars. We're not worried about the addition. We're just going to find those first. So 3 times -5 plus 2, and then -5 squared minus 2 times -5 plus 10. Now, especially for g of -5, let me show you a calculator trick because I think this is where a lot of you are like, I'm just getting it wrong and I don't know why, even though you're probably putting in the correct thing. So, and I'll go back to the screen, so don't worry, but how many of you, when you're squaring something, like a negative, for example, you're doing this? Did you guys put that in your calculator? Yep. What's actually the square of -5? Positive 25. Watch what I do when I do this. So what your calculator is doing, because even the calculator can be a bit stupid, all right? The way your calculator is reading this is as if there's only parentheses around the 5 and the negative is on the outside. Meaning you're doing 5 squared times -1. Whereas if you put parentheses around the -5, that tells your calculator, oh crap, I got to include that negative in the calculation. So it does -5 times -5, which is positive 25. Something as simple as that. Screw you up. Calculator, I like to say the calculator is just about as smart as the person using it, but sometimes the calculator is just stupid, right? And that's just one of the dumb things that the calculator does. All right. So whenever you have to square a negative, you've got to put those parentheses around it. My rule of thumb is when in doubt, put parentheses. All right. Even if it's a positive number, when in doubt, put parentheses around it. Especially if you're like raising it to a power, because it just, your calculator can get funky with that stuff. Does that make a bit more sense? Does that kind of put into a new light? Like, okay, so maybe I'm not, totally struggling. I've just had a calculator issue. That make you guys feel a bit better? All right, so now try and find f of -5 and g of -5, knowing what you know now. So that's also why I put parentheses around them when I wrote them down. You say 35 or 45?
What? I just put up my calculator.
Yes, ma'am.
You're right. Maybe what do you do with the other stuff?
I'll show you in just a second.
Okay, so you still have to do some of that to finish the
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then the answer that we got isn't our answer?
Nope.
Okay. I was making sure.
All right. So just a quick check. I got -13 for f of -5 and 45 for g of -5. Is that what you guys got? Or at least in ballpark? All right. Now, we got these numbers. But we still need to account for their scalars now. So the 2 in front of the g and the 3 in front of the f. And all that means is we just got to multiply these two numbers by those respective numbers. So we're now finding 2g of -5. Well, guess what? We already know what g of 5 is, or g of -5 is. We just got to multiply that number by 2. Same thing with 3f of -5. We already know what f of -5 is. We just got to multiply that number by 3. So this would be 90 and -39. So whenever you see that scalar in front, so those little numbers in front of it, that's all you got to do. After you find just the f of -5 and the g of -5, you just got to multiply it by those two numbers separately. All right? So it's just one extra step than what we've been doing. And then finally, we got the numbers that we need to complete the actual operation, which is the addition. So 2g plus 3f of -5 is equal to 90 plus -39. So that would give me what? 51, yeah. That would be your answer. Any questions on evaluating operations? Does that make sense to you guys? All right, so that means that page 2, that is your optional packet assignments. You remember how I said there's optional assignments for some extra points? That's your first optional packet assignment for 1.2. I'll post that in Canvas, all right? But it's not required, so you don't necessarily have to do it. But if you want those extra 5 points at the end of your unit for a good old grade boost, that's one of them, all right? Now, here's what we're going to do next. So we're going to put the packet to the side for now. You're going to need your Chromebook out, all right, and get logged onto Canvas. Let me try, and then I'll finish it out. Yeah. Let me try, because I had a lot of luck in second period with it. This actually extends pretty far, so you can pull it and it'll go. It should hopefully reach. It's like a 10-footer. All right, so I need you guys in Canvas. If you can't get logged on just yet, that's okay.